Hey everybody!
Hi!
This is kind of a new thing. It's different than what we usually do. But we are on our way to Kalamazoo, Michigan for the Arise Shine conference that we go to every year. And it was at this conference last year that our podcast was sort of birthed, like the idea came to be. So we thought it would be fun to sort of vlog. So obviously this won't be on Apple or Spotify, it'll just be on YouTube. But we just wanted to do something fun and new and exciting. So we've been on the road for maybe like an hour or so now.
Hour and a half, maybe.
And we're just stopped at McDonald's for some brekkie real quick.
So follow along.
Yeah.
We're gonna have fun.
It's gonna be exciting, and we don't know what we're doing, so just bear with us. But it's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be so much fun. We're glad to have you with us.
Yes.
Let's go!
Yay!
My phone. What are you expecting God to do this week?
Well, I never like to put expectations on God, but I am super excited about what He'll do in us together. Like, that's my favorite thing, to see how He unites people in a group. But then for me personally, I am looking to see what He's doing in other churches that resonate with me, like with other pastors, to see what kind of thing that God is doing in this network. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess in both cases it's about unity amongst the body. Yeah.
So good. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, Lizzie, what are you expecting God to do this week?
I am really excited to see what He gives me as far as like just being inspired by other churches and other ministry leaders, and I feel like there's always such overflow from all of them, and so I'm just expecting to receive some of that, even if it's nothing specific, just the overflow from them. And then I think personally looking at how he just encourages me, because I feel like I just need his love and encouragement right now, so I'm excited for that.
So good, thank you.
Okay, Allison, what are you excited for or expecting God to do this week?
I am honestly just really excited to be able to worship without thinking of anything else. So I think I don't know if it's an expectation of God, but I'm just excited to be in his presence without having to be a ministry leader or anything like that. I can just like wipe my mind and be with him. And then I also would hope that there's some healing in store and just release of certain things, and maybe I can even get some new scriptures to hold on to for the season that I'm in.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yep. All right, Rebecca, what are you expecting God to do this week?
I'm excited for our staff to be able to go to a church and get to worship without responsibilities, and that's really free worship. And also I think we know what God is doing in our zip code, but it's so interesting to drive 12 hours away and see what God is doing there. It gives us a better perspective about what God is doing in the nation. And so I'm excited to be inspired, to be challenged, and to help kind of reset my compass for the next year, for what God's going to do in my life.
All right, Jenny, what are you excited for God to do or expecting him to do this week?
Yeah, so we're at the Rise Shine Conference in Kalamazoo, Michigan. We always hear a word from God here every year, and I really feel like unity is what he's doing. He's just unifying his body. So it says it right there, he's shaking off whatever's been holding us back from each other, because it's unity in him.
Yeah.
So we're coming together around him and letting these other things that are separating us fall away.
So good. I love that. Thank you. All right, Brayden, what are you excited for or expecting God to do this week?
I am excited for the Lord to encourage me, bring me a new word that I know that he's going to do, and I'm expecting of it, and just excited to get to worship freely, get to just be poured into, and get ready for this amazing time, this next season when we get back home. But I'm pumped for it all.
Yay. Okay, it's my husband's first time on the podcast channel. Yay. What are you excited and expecting God to do this week?
I think I'm most excited just to soak in just the presence of great, like, godly leadership. I think that's huge, and especially in a different house that we're aligned with up in Michigan, and just worship, like just unrelentless worship. I'm excited for. I'm expecting nothing but him. Just him show up, and whatever he has for me, I know he's going to give it to me. So,
Love
yeah.
that.
This place so much better than the places did. Oh, it wasn't bad at all.
What are you excited or expectant for God to do this week?
Well, I'm excited about the opportunity to meet some more people and grow our network and just kind of widen the kingdom net. I always enjoy networking, meeting new people. What I'm expecting this weekend is just some good, solid, godly education and revelation. Looks like they got some great workshops, and I'm just looking forward to learning some new stuff.
Good. Thank you.
Hi.
We're back with an update.
Yay.
So we have been through one main session and one workshop so far, and we're getting ready to go into another little breakout session. So we just wanted to give quick takeaways from what we've done so far. So
Yeah. Go for it, Lizzie.
So the first session was Pastor Lee Cummings, and he talked about 9.5 theses for Reformation of a Spirit and Truth Church. And my big takeaway, just for right now, without a lot of processing, is that we need a renewed dependence on the Holy Spirit. And just talking about how the church today has either rejected certain gifts of the Spirit or the Spirit altogether, or they've made it real wonky and weird, and there's just
two extremes on either end of the spectrum.
And we need to go back to just relying on the gifts and the strengths of the Spirit. And the whole reason that Jesus left was so that we could have that and we could depend on that, and it needs to be renewed in us and in the church.
That's so good. I love that.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do mine?
Yeah,
and then
do
we'll
yours
move
and
on.
We'll do our workshops.
So I would say, can I go off the bend a little bit?
Yeah.
So I thought everything Pastor Lee said was great, and I agree with all of it, but I'm going to go from worship.
Yes.
My main takeaway from this morning was probably, and it started yesterday with the sermon at church yesterday, but how thankfulness is the doorway to breakthrough, and how anytime we're entering like the gates of the throne room, the gates of heaven, the gate of to his presence, like we should bring thanksgiving even if we don't have anything else. Like we should always be bringing him something. And if you have nothing to bring, you can still bring him your thanks for, at least whatever he's done in the past. But there's, even in the present, even when you're in a valley, there's so many things to be thankful for. So
Yeah.
I'm in a thankful mood, and the Lord's teaching me how to be thankful in a valley, which is sweet.
I love that.
So
That's so good.
yeah, that's so good. So your workshop, what workshop did you go to?
I went to a workshop on the prophetic ministry and how to hear God's voice and rightly operate out of the prophetic.
That's
And
exciting.
So a lot of things that he said were really good, but he talked a lot about how church leaders and pastors can put up correct guardrails and things so that the prophetic is done in a healthy way within their church, rather than getting weird and wild and crazy and all those things. And so I think a big takeaway for me from that is I don't know, I think it keeps getting highlighted for me, Pentecost, and how like Christ left in order to gift us with the Holy Spirit. And he touched on that as well, and how it is a gift, and I think sometimes we forget that it's a gift, and it's made, or it's given for our good and for our edification and our strengthening and our encouraging. And so I think really that just leaning into the fact that it is a gift that we are given, and he
That's
just
so
said
cool.
like we are made to give out what we are given.
Yeah.
And so like don't hinder your gift, don't let your gift be
Right.
discouraged.
Also, God doesn't give scary, weird gifts.
Yeah, exactly. It just
Gifts
he
from
put
God are
such-
good.
He put such clarity on what the prophetic is meant to be and how you're supposed to operate in it, and I really appreciated that. So that's not very specific,
Oh, that's really
but
good.
yeah, I just really appreciated the whole premise of what he was talking about.
I love that. I
about
love
you?
Wayne Drain.
Wayne Drain.
I went to a workshop called Mobilizing Gen Z, taught by Toby Kavanaugh. So good. I think my main takeaway was that we can actually look to Jesus's literal practical example of discipleship to disciple our generation and the younger generations, simply because, and I don't know why I didn't know this before, but Jesus was 30. All his disciples, scholars say, were from like 15 to like 22, actually.
That's so wild.
So really, Jesus
I
was a
didn't know
Gen
that
Z
young.
pastor, or not a Gen Z pastor, a younger generation's pastor type
Yeah.
of thing. And so we can look to him and use his life and his discipleship ways basically as like a master class to just discipling and mobilizing the generation that we're in and the generation below us.
So beautiful.
And, there were practical steps to that I could get into later, but just, always looking back to Jesus. It was really good.
I love that.
Yeah, it was sweet. Yeah.
Well, those are our first 2 sessions.
Yay, we'll check back in later.
Yeah, we're going to go to prayer room.
And enjoy the sunshine.
Thanks for watching.
See you later.
He's a softie at heart. Highest wall. Whoa.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
We're back for a check-in, and we're only doing this because
We're under a tornado warning.
we're under a tornado warning, and so we had to evacuate the sanctuary, and now we're just sitting in their tornado warning
They
area.
have like a tornado. They're a tornado shelter.
I don't know, it's Michigan, so we're waiting it out, and we thought we'd do a check-in
Yeah, we are.
from last night and this morning.
We're getting ready to go into our last session. We were in our last session, and then tornado
And
happened.
we were worshiping, and they had to stop, so here we are.
Sorry for chomping our gum.
Oh yeah, sorry.
We're a little nervy. Okay, so we just want to do a quick check-in. Last time we did a check-in was at lunchtime yesterday,
Yeah,
and we've had so many sessions since then.
yeah.
And so I think a big one was about Michael Miller spoke about what a house of prayer is, and
It was like
15
15 non-negotiables
for a house of prayer.
for a house of prayer, which in reality, something that I took away from it was that, and I already knew this, but I love that he emphasized that a house of prayer is not a type of church, it is the church. Because when Jesus in Matthew walked through the temple and he saw that people were selling and making the temple something that it wasn't supposed to be, he said his house will be a house of prayer.
And that's what
He could have put so many other things in there that his church should be, but he used the word prayer, and so like prayer in churches shouldn't be a movement. It shouldn't be like a part of just any church culture. It should
some new hype thing.
it should be churches should be houses of prayer, and he gave 15 characteristics kind of that every church, which it should be a house of prayer, should have. So
They were also good. The last one he did was that they should be characterized by joy, which was really sweet. And we just, we're praying. We ended by praying for a restoration of joy, which was really powerful. And
that part was so good. People like that felt like he called out people that had felt like they had recently been heartbroken.
chocolate.
I'm okay, thank you.
Thanks.
We'll cut this out. What were you saying? Oh,
Joy.
he invited people out into the aisles who felt like they needed a restoration of joy. And so, we went out there.
Yeah.
Lots of people went out there, and everybody else was just able to lay hands on us and pray over us for joy and gladness and thanksgiving. And
I got the joy down in my heart.
Got the joy,
Joy down in my heart. Hey.
Yeah,
Hey.
that was really beautiful. So that was awesome. And then, of course, there's so much more, but our brains are just not.
So much
We're not going back
information.
more. This morning, John Tyson from Church of the City in New York City spoke, and he's incredible.
He's so smart.
He's so smart.
It was almost hard to follow along
There's
because
so much.
every sentence was like
impactful.
so rich, filled with so much to unpack.
Yeah. And he was talking about holy ambition and how ambition can often get misconstrued in ministry because it can like kind of mess up your motives and corrupt your motives. But he talked about how the opposite of ambition isn't humility; it's actually complacency and so we do need to have ambition, but it has to be a holy kind of ambition. And so he was just unpacking that through the story of Nehemiah, which was really, really impactful and very convicting in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it was super good.
Yeah. And then we had some workshops. I went to a student workshop. It was great. And we went to prayer room.
Prayer room
for salvation for our loved ones.
That was one of my favorite parts of today was being in prayer room. It was just super, energetic. Just having the freedom, because in different prayer rooms look different, but in this one we were able to just let loose and dance.
Yeah.
And sing, and then they called us all to start praying and interceding for the salvation of people in our families and in our friend groups that don't know Jesus. And we got to go up and say them by name and pray over them to meet Jesus and to just be able to open their eyes to his love. And that was powerful for me. Just, man, there's nothing like, I don't know. I feel like there's becoming a place in my heart for intercession.
Same.
And I don't really have anything else to say on that, but that's just, I feel something like bubbling up about that.
I am realizing that I'm realizing what it means to be burdened.
Yes.
For the Lord to burden you for something, to be interceding for something. So one of the burdens that the Lord gave me just a couple of days ago was for a friend of mine who I love, and isn't really following the Lord or doing anything like that. And I'm just seeing her from afar fall into some things that I don't want her to. And I think the Lord has burdened me to start interceding on her behalf.
I love that.
So
we all have people we can be praying for and contending for, which is another word that's been just so popular here.
Covenant prayer. That's what John Tyson called it.
That's
Covenant
what it is.
prayer.
Covenant prayer, which is basically going to the Lord. Sorry, my hand's shaking a little bit. Hold on, I need a break.
Let me. I'll hold it.
No, you need to do it the other way. Yeah. Covenant
Angle change.
John Tyson taught on covenant prayer, which is a big part of interceding. Covenant prayer is basically you going to the Lord on someone's behalf and saying, Lord, this is who you are, this is who you said you are, this is what you've said you will do in Scripture, and basically saying, Lord, be you. Be who you are, do what you do, like calling God's character out of him over certain people. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
How would you put it?
He called it, how did he word it? It's praying. Oh, I can't remember now, but it's basically praying out of the knowledge of the covenant that you have with the Lord, and not just being vague, like, oh God, your will be done, but calling out his word and his promises and trusting him to fulfill his promises because of the covenant that he has with us. It was just really amazing. And of course, John Tyson worded it way better than we just did, but
maybe we'll do what if we did an episode that actually recapped in detail after we've had time to process and we're able to really go into something.
Yeah, we might be able to do that. Who
knows?
Maybe a little extra episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of an update for now. Again, we are
Still waiting on this tornado warning, so
It'll be fine.
who knows? But eventually we'll get in there to hear good old Corey Russell.
I'm so excited. He's gonna blow the roof off before
If the tornado doesn't.
If the tornado doesn't.
All right, well,
All right, we'll check in again later.
yeah.
Bye.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ray. Happy birthday
This is lovely.